Order in the court. We will now proceed with the testimony of Miss Amber Heard. Mr. Rivera, you may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Heard, please state your full name for the record.
Amber Laura Heard.
Miss Heard, you've been called as a witness in the case against Mr. Sean Combs, also known as P. Diddy, regarding allegations of racketeering, sex trafficking, and coercion. Can you confirm your relationship with Mr. Combs?
I knew Sean socially. We met at a few events in Los Angeles and New York around 2018, maybe 2019. It was through mutual connections in the entertainment industry. I wouldn't say we were close, but we crossed paths enough to have interactions.
Can you describe the nature of those interactions?
They were intense. Sean had this way of drawing people in. He was charismatic, larger than life, like he owned every room he walked into. But there was another side to him, something darker. I saw things, heard things that made me uneasy.
Objection, Your Honor. Vague and speculative. The witness is making broad statements without providing specific details.
Sustained. Miss Heard, please provide specific examples to support your claims.
Right, okay. There was this one night in the summer of 2019 at a private party in the Hollywood Hills. Sean was hosting and it was extravagant. A-list celebrities, music moguls, models, everyone was there. I was invited by a friend and I went because I was curious. Sean had this reputation, you know. Like he was untouchable, a kingpin of sorts.
What happened at this party that made you uneasy?
There was a moment when I saw Sean with a young man, Justin, his son. They were in a heated argument in a secluded part of the mansion near the pool house. I couldn't hear everything, but Justin was upset. He was saying something about how Sean had forced him into situations he didn't want to be in. I heard Justin say, "You made me do it, Dad. You made me cover for you."
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay. The witness is recounting an alleged conversation she was not a part of. Your Honor, this testimony is relevant to establish Mr. Combs' pattern of coercive behavior, including within his own family, which is central to the racketeering charges.
Overruled. The testimony is admissible to establish context, but Miss Heard, you must clarify what you personally observed and avoid repeating unverified statements unless they are directly relevant.
I saw Justin's face. He looked scared, angry. Sean grabbed him by the arm, not violently but firmly, and pulled him inside. I didn't follow, but later that night I saw Justin again. He was different, quiet, almost defeated. I asked him if he was okay, and he just brushed it off, said, "You don't know my dad."
Miss Heard, you mentioned situations Justin was forced into. Did you ever learn more about what he meant?
Not directly from Justin, but there were rumors. People in the industry talked about Sean's parties, his freak-offs, they called them. I heard from a stylist friend that Sean used his influence to manipulate people, including Justin, into participating in things they didn't want to do. Things like sexual performances for his guests. I didn't see it myself, but the rumors were persistent.
Objection, Your Honor. This is hearsay and irrelevant gossip. The witness is relying on second-hand rumors, not personal knowledge.
Sustained. Miss Heard, stick to what you personally witnessed or experienced. Rumors are not admissible.
Fine, I saw things at other events too. There was a night in New York at a club Sean owned. I was there with a group, including some people from the film industry. Sean pulled me aside, said he wanted to talk business. He was all charm at first, offering to connect me with producers, saying he could open doors for me. But then he got intense. He said I owed him for being there, that I should show gratitude in ways that made my skin crawl.
Can you clarify what he meant by show gratitude?
He implied physical favors. He didn't say it outright, but the way he looked at me, the way he touched my arm, it was clear what he wanted. I told him I wasn't interested, and he laughed it off like it was a game. But later that night, I saw him with another woman, younger, maybe early 20s. She looked uncomfortable, like she was being pressured. I left after that.
Miss Heard, let's clarify. You're claiming Mr. Combs made an inappropriate advance, yet you admit he didn't explicitly state anything. Isn't it possible you misinterpreted his intentions? You said yourself it was a crowded club, with music, alcohol. Maybe you misread the situation.
I know what I felt. His tone, his body language, it wasn't a misunderstanding. I've been around enough men like him to know the difference.
Men like him. So you're making assumptions based on your own biases, not facts. Let's move to this alleged argument with Justin Combs. You said it was in 2019, correct?
Yes, summer of 2019.
Interesting. Because in your deposition, you stated this incident occurred in 2018 at a different event in Malibu. Can you explain the discrepancy?
I might have mixed up the dates. It was a chaotic time in my life. I was dealing with my own personal issues, my divorce, but I'm certain it was Justin and Sean, and it was at a mansion party.
So your memory isn't reliable, is it? You can't confirm the year, the location, or even the exact words spoken. Yet you're asking this court to believe your account of a vague conversation you overheard.
I know what I saw. Justin was scared and Sean was controlling him. I'm not making this up.
Ms. Heard, control your tone. Answer the questions directly.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm trying to be clear. It's hard to relive these moments.
Miss Heard, let's focus on another incident. You mentioned in your statement to investigators that you witnessed an altercation involving Mr. Combs and a well-known actor at a charity gala in 2020. Can you describe that event?
Yes, it was a gala for a children's charity in Los Angeles. Tom Cruise was there. He was one of the hosts. I was at a table nearby and I saw Sean and Tom talking privately. It got heated. Tom was intense like he always is, very focused, almost missionary-like in his demeanor. He was accusing Sean of using the charity as a front for something else, something illegal.
Can you elaborate on what Mr. Cruise said?
Tom said something like, "You're tainting this cause, Sean. You're using these kids as a shield for your dirty deals." I didn't hear everything, but it was clear Tom was furious. Sean just smirked like he wasn't fazed and said, "You don't know the game, Tom. Stay in your lane."
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay again. And this is irrelevant to the charges against my client.
Your Honor, this testimony establishes Mr. Combs' pattern of using his influence to manipulate high-profile events and individuals, which is directly relevant to the racketeering charges.
Overruled, but Ms. Heard, focus on what you directly observed. Avoid repeating conversations unless you were a direct participant.
I saw Tom walk away, red-faced, like he was ready to explode. Later, I overheard Sean talking to one of his associates, laughing about how Tom was too righteous for his own good. It made me think Sean was hiding something big, something even someone like Tom Cruise couldn't ignore.
Miss Heard, you seem to have a knack for overhearing private conversations. Let's talk about this gala. You said it was in 2020, correct?
Yes.
According to the event records, Mr. Cruise was not in Los Angeles in 2020 for any charity gala. He was filming overseas. Can you explain this inconsistency?
Maybe it was 2019. I'm not sure. I know I saw them together. It was a big event, lots of people.
So, once again, your memory is unclear. You're asking this court to believe a story about a confrontation that may not have even happened. And let's address your motives, Miss Heard. Isn't it true you've had your own legal troubles, including a highly publicized defamation case? Could this testimony be an attempt to deflect attention from your own controversies?
That's not true. I'm here because I saw things that weren't right. I'm not perfect, but I'm telling the truth about Sean.
Ms. Heard, I won't warn you again about your tone. Ms. Agnifilo, proceed with your questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Heard, you mentioned freak-offs earlier. You admitted you never witnessed one yourself, only heard rumors. Yet in your statement to investigators, you claim to have seen disturbing behavior at one of these events. Which is it?
I saw things that made me uncomfortable. Women who looked scared, men who were too aggressive. I didn't see the acts themselves, but the atmosphere was wrong.
So you're basing your testimony on feelings, not facts. And isn't it true you attended these parties willingly, seeking to advance your own career? You said yourself Mr. Combs offered to open doors for you. Did you ever take him up on those offers?
No, I didn't want anything from him. I went to those events because I was invited, because it's part of the industry. You don't say no to someone like Sean Combs.
So you're admitting you were there for your own gain, yet you're painting my client as a villain. Miss Heard, isn't it possible your testimony is colored by your own agenda, to rehabilitate your public image after your own legal battles?
That's not fair. I'm here because I want justice. I saw what Sean did to people, how he controlled them. I'm not lying
Miss
about
Heard,
that.
let's focus on another specific incident. You mentioned in your statement a conversation with Justin Combs in 2020 where he made serious allegations against his father. Can you describe that?
Yes, it was at a music festival in Miami. Justin was there and we ended up talking alone for a few minutes. He was emotional, almost desperate. He told me his father had forced him to participate in illegal activities to protect the family name. He said Sean made him arrange payments to people to keep them quiet, about the parties, about what happened at them. Justin said he felt trapped, like he couldn't escape his father's control.
Did Justin specify what these payments were for?
He said they were to cover up things that happened at the freak-offs. He didn't go into detail, but he mentioned a woman who threatened to go public about being coerced into acts. Justin said he had to deliver cash to her under Sean's orders.
Objection, Your Honor. This is hearsay, and the witness is again relying on vague, second-hand information.
Sustained. Ms. Heard, you cannot testify about what Justin Combs allegedly told you unless it directly pertains to your own observations or actions.
But it's true, Justin was terrified of his father. He said Sean had secrets, big ones, and he'd do anything to keep them hidden. I'm not making this up.
Miss Heard, you've been warned about hearsay. Stick to what you personally witnessed.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness with a document to refresh her recollection? Miss Heard, this is an email you sent to a friend in 2020 describing an encounter with Mr. Combs at a film premiere. Can you read the highlighted portion?
Sean was at the premiere last night acting like he owns the place. He cornered me, said I should be grateful for the exposure. I told him to back off, but he just laughed. There's something off about him, like he's hiding a million secrets.
Does this email align with your testimony today?
Yes, it's exactly what I've been saying. Sean was always pushing boundaries, making people feel small so he could feel powerful.
Miss Heard, this email also mentions you were networking at the premiere. Isn't it true you were seeking Mr. Combs' help to secure a role in a music biopic? And when he didn't deliver, you became resentful.
That's not true. I wasn't after a role. I was just trying to survive in this industry. Sean was the one who made it feel like a transaction.
So you admit you were pursuing opportunities at these events, yet you claim to be a victim of Mr. Combs' behavior. Miss Heard, isn't it possible your testimony is an attempt to shift blame from your own questionable decisions?
I'm not perfect, okay? I've made mistakes, but I'm not lying about Sean. He's dangerous and people need to know.
We'll take a 15-minute recess. Miss Heard, you're excused for now but remain under oath.